Well, it's nice to be here again. I did some homework before I came down to see how many times I had featured here. This is the third time, and that was 6 years ago. Primarily, I wanted to make sure that I didn't do anything a second time. I wanted to have all new stuff for you tonight. I put together a set really that runs in 3 parts. Real recent work. I've been doing a lot of prose lately. I'm running a workshop for veterans with PTSD up in Bellingham, and the instructors wind up writing their own assignments. So my poetry output is lower, but I've got a few new poems. I want to do an elegiac, and I want to do a retrospective. Mother warned me of bad company. Belatedly, I found an attractive metaphor in socks. I mean, one gets a hole, the other, through no malfeasance of its own, gets tossed out with it. This is called pinups. Mother always used suggestive as a pejorative, but now I see it different. Kristen sends me pinups. She creates in bits of paper, like found poems or ransom notes, arranged in suggestive ways, reminiscent of the 40s. It's the same old thing with Art Deco Nite, kinky see-through clothes, vertiginous high heels, penciled eyebrows, and sleeping kitties, so quaint you almost don't get the message, but really appreciate what you don't get to see. This is called Forgot Your ID? Answer these questions. When I was baptized, the preacher said, "This be your username, and this your password. So in the future, you can order replacement check on the internet. Don't forget that hackers, banks, and Yahoo may make you change these every other week to this or that until you don't remember who you used to be and get denied access to yourself."
Yeah.
You can see her naked through the window. Boys on the street insist, giggling. She never pulls the blinds. He stalks her at a distance. Twilight quits its color. She passes through streetlight. Her shapeless shadow flashes briefly, disappearing in between. He hides in a scruffy juniper, peeks through her window, ashamed, quaking, exhilarated, waiting. She takes a bath someplace, does something in another room, plays piano, reads. He's cold, he daydreams. Wham! She's naked, turned away. She's pencil thin, straight up and down, her legs mere cylinders, but lengthy. Her bare feet, no different from a boy's, exciting. He holds his breath, prays she'll turn around to give away that mystery no book has solved for him. He sees her finally turn. She faces him. He's disappointed. She's just 13, like he is. Hits will have to happen later. Their place saved meantime by something more like hives from bites, a rain check. Her sex is less exciting yet. A plain, blank white absence, tabula rasa, waiting for some boy's irreverent pencil to scribble on it. Now just a sacred place, desecrated by the graffiti of imagination. This is called Instructions for Strategic Bombers. Spare us war, and if not, take the men. Leave art. Spare what myriads have never merited, the creaks of genius. Take strategic bridges, railways, freeways, factories, refineries, munitions dumps, amusement parks, and stadiums. Leave cathedrals. Things unachievable portrayed in stone and paint, in vaults and domes and spires and traceries. The unattainable divine inspired in height and space. Take me and other nameless dust instead. Leave art. Okay, talking about Albuquerque, a very, very long time ago at Albuquerque High School, and I met a girl there who was scandalously in a class earlier than mine. My parents were extremely strict and I couldn't date. But my mother used to invite her home for dinner anyway. And we became very, very close friends. We were inseparable. She graduated from high school, married too young, and disappeared for 50 years. When it came time for her class reunion, she ran me down on Facebook, and we took off half a century later where we should have started in high school, and spent 5 years commuting back and forth between El Paso and Bellingham, back and forth, trip to Scotland, hundreds of thousands of miles actually, on back roads in New Mexico, and then she died 8 months ago of congestive heart failure. So this is a short elegy of poems that were written for her, about her. A bird came through my window once and panicked, frantic, crashed into walls and windows, fluttering in wild, erratic dips and darts till dropping exhausted to the rug. I picked it up and put it out. She found me recently, after 50 years, reaching out, I think, to complete what wasn't even started in the naive reticence of our youth, and I, crashing into walls, am not exhausted yet. Our lovers are us. We are archaeological, a stratigraphy of abandoned stages, layers played out in episodes of conquest, fire, ashes, broken pottery, offal, bones. We are a history. We have been eaten by our lovers, our flesh ingested, our DNA processed, consumed, assimilated in their digestive tracts. We are not alone nor independent. Though rejected, we carry their essence on forever. And when we die, the pyre will not suffice. Our debt to them is carried to the grave, or to the heavens as particles of smoke from cremation, girdling the planet as refractive haze. Sunsets bent, made red by atoms of our loves, lay down again as cosmic dust. Our paleontology writ plainly in the inescapable code of our selections. This is an epigraph from Jack Gilbert, which, for the Great Fires, is essentially an elegiac in song zone. And the line goes, this is from the poem Finding Eurydice in the Great Fires. He does not understand how much their doting eyes can see the sleek, gleaming beauty of her hidden in the bright water. You and I have wagered our bodies, like Mark Twain's miners celebrated jumping frogs. Or small boys racing tortoises. We now must love by proxy, since age stole away our beauty. It now enfolds as if rats and magpies had traded shabby objects in our place. The lean turgidity of youth, being drawn earthward inexorably by gravity. 2 lifetimes of drying has made gnomes of us. 2 wrinkled apples brought to light, side by side in a ruined basket. Bent by age, I only see your shadow now. My eyesight fails. For I braille alone, I find a naive, nubile teenage girl. Inside her flawless skin, inviting touch. Her hair in color still, not turned white, flying in youth's wind like Turkish flags. I feel desire for that body yet untried, the tingling electricity of unrequited lust by surrogate, the irrepressible neediness of love. Woo! Well, hopefully this will register to my Nuevo Mexicano friends here. This poem is called Road Through Willard and Encino. She and I tried to cover all the old 1912 highways of New Mexico, the back roads, 110 miles of gravel, rock, through the plains of Augustine, everywhere, all those wonderful, incredible places in New Mexico that only the native people get to see. And this is one of those trips. More like abandoned movie sets used up. Towns, villages, settlements, terms used loosely. Like spiders' victims sucked clean of vital fluids cast down as dry carapaces left on windowsills. Limbless distant forests of bristling power poles shimmer in mirage with dangling severed wires, disconnected from the surviving world, assumed to lie beyond unreachable horizons. Gaunt, twisted, brittle, wind-whipped, lifeless limbs of leafless elms create an anorexic shade in surrealistic patterns beneath which no children play. No dogs remain to guard the place or bark at shadows. A dozen empty houses face in unpredictable directions, abandoned now to fate. Looters, vandals, wind, their vacant windows made blind by cataracts, gaze out through broken glass. Power meters taken out, recycled by the utility. Not one light seen passing by at night along the pitch-black cracked asphalt 2-lane highway, and in day by sandy yards, collapsed fences, derelict cars, faded signs for 10-cent gas, all dematerialized by trapped drifts of rolling thistleweeds that hide the ill-considered dreams of hopeful fools. Whole towns pinched out one by ones by fingers of absent-minded gods along the road to Vaughn.